Yes guys, what's happening? Welcome back to Cop Noise TV, where we're here for the big match build-up between Liverpool and Man City this weekend, early kick-off in the FA Cup quarter-final. And this does feel like a big match. Like this is huge for Liverpool's season. It's a trip to Wembley, albeit yes, it's a semi-final, but listen, that's the way it goes now these days. The semi-finals are played at Wembley. I reckon that probably won't ever change now. So therefore, it's a chance for Liverpool to kind of galvanise the spirit, if you like, get all the fans together. Hopefully, a nice sunny day out down at Wembley. So yeah, this does feel like a massive, massive game for Liverpool, and it's felt like a long time coming. If I'm honest, obviously this international break has been no different to any other international break that we've had, but for some reason, I don't know what you guys think, but this one feels really, really long, and I don't know if it's because we come off the back of a disappointing result away at Brighton last time out in the Premier League, so therefore maybe it's taken a little bit longer. I don't know, but for me, it seems like ages since I've seen the Reds play. But before we get into Liverpool, let's have a look at Man City. So, through the rounds, Man City, round 3, they drew at home to Exeter, where they won 10-1. Round 4, they drew at home to Salford, where they won 2-0, where they played last season. I think they actually got drawn last season against Salford, and they put 9 past them, I think. So, yeah, a little bit of a difference there, 9-2. But listen, a win's a win. And then in round 5, they had their toughest task of the competition yet, where they went away to Newcastle and won 3-1. And I remember watching that game, and Newcastle got off to a really good start. I think they went 1-up within maybe 15, 16 minutes, something like that. And they was on the front foot there. They was creating chances, and unfortunately, because they didn't take any of those chances, Man City got a goal towards the back end of the first half, and it just knocked Newcastle completely out of their stride, if I'm honest. Second half came out, and City just showed how the golfing class, if you like, between them and Newcastle, and ended up running away 3-1 winners in the end. Now, City are coming off the back of winning well, not even their first trophy, but the season's first trophy in the Carabao Cup, so the tails will obviously be up. But I wanted to look a little bit deeper into City's season on the whole, because in City's last 7 league games, they've only managed to keep 2 clean sheets, which I thought was a bit of I wouldn't say a mind-blowing stat, but you know, when you think about Man City, you think about great going forward, solid in defence, you know, structure in midfield with Rodri, Bernardo Silva. So to see that they'd only kept 2 clean sheets in the last 7 league games was quite interesting, because we all know the formidable force that Man City are going forward, and I think the signing of Semenyo has been amazing, if I'm honest. That was one signing that got away from Liverpool, where I thought if we could have got him, it would have helped to kick on this season. But I think for the next 4 or 5 seasons, you know, he was the replacement for Mo Salah. Liverpool, I'm sure, will have Plan B and Plan C in place to replace Mo Salah now that we know he's leaving at the end of the season. But Semenyo would have been awesome. He would have came in. He would have kind of lifted the spirits of the fans. What's been a troublesome season, pretty much from start to finish, if you like. And unfortunately, he went to City, and you can't begrudge him for that. And you can see how he's kind of slotted in to life at Man City straight away by the amount of goals he's getting and the freedom that he's playing with. And you just think, what if, don't you? What if he was wearing a red shirt? What if that was for Liverpool? What if we got to see him at Anfield every other week playing for Liverpool? It would have been an unbelievable signing, and it doesn't surprise me how good he is doing at City. But yeah, obviously City's attack formidable, but the defence is not. And those games that I was alluding to, those last 7 league games where they've only kept 2 clean sheets, 2 of those games were against relegation battling sides in Nottingham Forest and West Ham. So Liverpool do have a chance. If Liverpool can can keep the back door shut, if Liverpool can create chances, which, listen, we're plenty good enough to create chances. We always create something. So who knows? Liverpool, if they're on their A game, if they bring their A game to this fixture, we're in with a chance. So, it's enough about Man City. Let's have a look at Liverpool. So when looking at Liverpool's previous fixtures in the competition so far this season, we've had some yo-yo performances, let's say. We drew Barnsley at home in the third round where we won 4-1, and I was at that game, and honestly, 4-1 flattered us. I thought Barnsley was, I wouldn't say they was the better side, far from it, but definitely the scoreline flattered us, and we could have easily kind of came away with that, with a 2-1 win, and no one would have came away thinking, oh gosh, we deserved a lot more from that. We missed loads of chances. Liverpool probably had 4 chances on the night and scored 4 goals, which is not like Liverpool this season. But look, a win's a win. We was in the draw for the next round, the 4th round. We drew a home tie against Brighton, which I was a little bit apprehensive about when this fixture came out. Not just because it was on Valentine's Day, not just because it was given at 8 PM on Valentine's Day, but just given how Liverpool was operating at that time of the season, the kind of side that Brighton is in terms of, they like to come at us, and we saw that with how they performed in the last league fixture where, they beat us 2-1 last time out. But look, it was anything but. I had nothing to worry about because it was arguably one of Liverpool's best performances of the season. It was up there with the Galatasaray at home in the Champions League. Maybe not as peak as that, but we looked formidable. We scored 3 goals. We were solid. We kept a clean sheet. All-round great performance from Liverpool. That then gave us a 5th round tie away at Wolves, where we played them twice in a week. We lost the league fixture, so we owed them one, if you like. And I remember the first half of that fixture, it was about as entertaining as reading your mortgage terms and conditions. Yeah, that first half was dull. But Arne Slot earned his money in that half-time team talk. We came out, we was a lot better, and we put Wolves to the sword. We scored 3 goals, 3 decent goals to be honest. And the only dampener, if you like, on that one was the fact that we give a sloppy goal away. They scored, I think, in the 91st minute, and it was an individual error. I think it might have been when Virgil van Dijk and Ibu Konate both got. I think Virgil van Dijk got kind of barged off the ball, missed the header. Konate got dragged over, and it was just a mess. But it set us up nicely for a fixture away at the Etihad against Man City. And look, I'd be lying sitting here now if I said that I would not have preferred an easier draw, if you like. Because, look, as much as there were some great teams, or there is some great teams in the quarterfinals, there's Arsenal, City, Chelsea. There's some decent ties that Liverpool potentially could have got. Some more preferable ties, should I say. There's West Ham and Leeds, both fighting for relegation. You probably would have taken over Man City. And then Southampton and Port Vale. And listen, come on. You can't tell me you would have loved for Peter Crouch, or was it Joe Hart, I can't remember who was doing it now, the draw, to pull out Liverpool as a home fixture, Port Vale away, in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We would have all loved that. A nice kind of paved, solid concrete path, if you like, straight down to Wembley way. But it wasn't to be. We got drawn against Man City away at the Etihad. And look, this is an FA Cup fixture, so we get to take a lot more fans with us. And with that, I think Liverpool have got around about just over 7,500. They'll take down the East Lancs Road to the Etihad early Saturday. Now, I'm sure those travelling fans would have loved a later kick-off, so they could have got nicely liquidated in the establishments beforehand. But the travelling cup will make noise, and that obviously will do Liverpool the world of good. Double the fans that they would normally have inside the Etihad, getting behind them and trying to get them over the line against what will be a tough fixture against Man City. Now, before I get into my team selection, a little bit of injury news for Liverpool off the back of the international break. Some good, some bad. So let's start with the bad, and that is that Jeremy Frimpong is looking like a doubt for this game. He came on for Holland at half-time as a replacement for Cody Gakpo. He lasted all of 13 minutes and got taken off, and I have to say, it's been a very, very disappointing season for Jeremy Frimpong. I'm quite a big fan of his, if I'm honest. I think he offers us something completely different. When he plays, you know, he's got rapid pace. He likes to get across in the box. His deliveries are normally quite good. So that area of his game is something that Liverpool do miss when he doesn't play. But unfortunately, he's just been, and pardon the pun here, but he's just been hamstrung with injuries this season. I think this is the 4th or 5th time he's been sidelined this season. Something that Liverpool really need to look into in the pre-season, because he will obviously probably be going to the World Cup if he is fit. So therefore, he's not going to get much of a break. He's not going to get much of a pre-season to potentially build any kind of muscle up that he may need to in order to kind of strengthen himself and be able to cope with what is the demand of the Premier League, the Champions League and internationals week in, week out. So something for Liverpool to excuse me, definitely look at there. And then the good news is that Arne Slot has came out today and said that Alexander Isak will return to full team training as of tomorrow. Unbelievable news, great news for the rest of the season. The fact that we're going to have more striking options, because as much as Hugo Ekitike has had a great season, he's a very patchy player for me, and a lot of fans don't speak about this, but he can never last 90 minutes, which is absolute mind-blowing to me. And he's very much in and out of games, and having Alexander Isak as an option off the bench, maybe in a month's time towards the back end of the season, who knows, he might be able to start games. But listen, Alexander Isak back up for selection is great. Now, Arne Slot didn't allude to whether he will be back in time for selection for this weekend, but who knows? You'd like to think that within a week or two he will definitely be featured in the squad for some of the tie against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. Right, with that being said, let's have a look at what I think Arne Slot will do for a starting 11 prediction. So here's my prediction for this weekend's fixture against Man City. Alisson Becker will play in goal. I think given the fact that we've got no Conor Bradley and no Jeremy Frimpong now, or Jeremy Frimpong is a massive doubt, I think Joe Gomez will play at right back. Centre-backs, Ibu Konate and Virgil van Dijk will continue their partnership there. I think Milos Kerkez, with his new haircut, will play at left back for Liverpool. Let me know what you think about that new haircut, by the way. Looks a bit wild to me, but, you know, who am I to comment? Midfield, I've gone for Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai. And I'm not dreading it, but the fact that we've got no right backs, I kind of fear that Sobo might get utilised at right back. But I think in this game especially, we need him in the engine room in the middle of the park. If we don't have him in there, if we don't have Sobo's engine, if we don't have Sobo's legs, his stamina, I fear that McAllister and Grav could get the runabout a little bit. So I think it's key that Dominic Szoboszlai starts in the centre of the park for Liverpool this weekend. And then up top, I think Florian Wirtz will operate from the left-hand side. And by the way, have you seen Florian Wirtz's goal the other night? Oof! Coming in off the left as well, right foot bent into the top bins. Yes, please, Florian. Let's see a little bit more of that in a red shirt, please. I think Mo Salah, hopefully rejuvenated Mo Salah, will play off the right-hand side, and Hugo Ekitike will lead the line up top. Right. Score predictions. Now, me being the ever enthusiastic person that I am, I don't think I predicted Liverpool to lose a game yet this season, and I'm not going to. I think this will be a tight game. I think it'll be 1-1 after 90 minutes. Hugo Ekitike on the score sheet, and I think Liverpool will take this and win in extra time. And I'm going to go for a one Rio Ungamoa to come off the bench and win the game for Liverpool. yeah, that's me. So, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below for starting 11 and also your score predictions. And if you haven't done already, why not? But make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit.